Fu Wenduo's brow slightly wrinkled, but there wasn't too much expression on his face. He took out the chicken nest from his pocket and grabbed a bottle of mineral water. He placed Tang Mo's hand on the balcony railing. One hand opened the bottle and poured the water slowly while the other hand cleaned the blood on Tang Mo's right hand. Cold water poured on the wound while Tang Mo wiped his lips and said nothing. Once the blood was thoroughly cleaned, the wound was exposed and looked even more shocking. Fu Wenduo whispered, "Did you meet someone from the Tianqian organization?" Tang Mo immediately realized that he misunderstood. "It isn't the Tianqian organization, it is an invisible person." He paused before adding, "The 89th place on the time leaderboard." His ability was quite powerful, but he thought I was a pig and didn't take me seriously. Thus, he was careless. Tang Mo reached out and tried to grab the bottle of mineral water. "I'll do it myself." Fu Wenduo poured the last bit of water on Tang Mo's wound and Tang Mo's hand stopped in the air. In the bright suns.h.I+ne, the tall man in black carefully cleaned the wound. Tang Mo watched Fu Wenduo and his lips slowly curved as he withdrew his hand. Fu Wenduo stared at him. Their eyes met in the air as they watched each other quietly. No one spoke. Then a voice was heard from the side. "Brother Tang." Fu Wenduo's body tensed while Tang Mo immediately looked up behind Fu Wenduo. They saw the short-haired girl on the balcony of the next room. It was unknown when she came out, but she was looking at them with surprise. Fu Wenduo turned his head and Chen Shanshan was surprised. "Major Fu." Fu Wenduo was more surprised than Chen Shanshan. The little girl knew that Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo were teammates and they had been moving together. Fu Wenduo didn't know that Chen Shanshan came all the way from Shanghai. Tang Mo took this opportunity to s.n.a.t.c.h his hand back from Fu Wenduo and the two of them entered the study. As soon as Tang Mo entered, he saw the abilities book that had fallen to the ground. He instantly woke up and ran over to pick it up, throwing it into the air. From beginning to end, Fu Wenduo didn't notice his behavior. Tang Mo sighed with relief. If the note had been seen, then he really would have jumped into the Yellow River. After 5 minutes, Jack returned from outside and the four of them met in the villa. Tang Mo was very concerned about one thing and he asked Fu Wenduo, "You have already cleared the Black Tower's 3rd floor? If you cleared it in hard mode, then you should be the first in China or the world to clear the 3rd floor's hard mode. The first player who cleared a floor in hard mode would have the information announced to all players who already cleared the floor." Tang Mo asked strangely, "I didn't hear the Black Tower's announcement." Tang Mo didn't feel like he would miss such important information. He would have noticed even in the tense moments of fighting with Li Chaocheng. However, the Black Tower didn't say it. Fu Wenduo told him, "We didn't clear the hard mode." "What?" Fu Wenduo explained, "After entering the forest, Fu Wenduo and I appeared in a dense forest. Behind us was a hidden hut and there were 2 more players, a male and a female. Like Xiao Sheng, they are players on the 2nd floor and the mission was to clear the 2nd floor of the Black Tower." Fu Wenduo spoke about his 4-day tower attack game in an orderly manner. Fu Wenduo carried out missions in this forest that had unusually tall trees. The trees in this forest shot straight into the sky. In such a huge forest, there was one uninhabited hut. In fairy tales, there was usually a witch living in this hut. No matter what was inside, it wasn't good to rush into the hut. Thus, the 4 people didn't enter. Then they met an underground person who claimed to be a hunter and saw a huge Gla.S mountain. Fu Wenzheng saw through the hunter's lies and attacked the hunter to protect himself. The 2 sides fought and the hunter was killed by the child. The 3 people's mission was at a deadlock, one teammate was already dead, and they were forced to use the moonflower to see the instance clearance method. They finally found that the hunter was the key to clearing the game. Fu Wenduo said, "Since the Black Tower didn't directly declare that we failed the instance, there must be another way to clear it." Chen Shanshan speculated, "This method should be considered the hard mode." Fu Wenduo looked at the little girl and shook his head. "I thought so as well. However, in the final mission, the Black Tower gave us 2 choices. One was obviously the hard mode while the other wasn't normal mode but wasn't hard mode either. Under normal circuit.misstances, I won't challenge the hard mode and body wanted to put themselves in danger. Even Fu Wenduo wouldn't deliberately choose the hard mode. Thus, we chose another road and smoothly said the Black Tower's 3rd floor." Tang Mo thought about it. There aren't only 2 ways to clear a game. There might be 3 ways. His voice stopped and Tang Mo looked up at Fu Wenduo. "Then did the Black Tower give an extra reward?" Fu Wenduo's lips curved and he asked, "Why should there be an extra reward?" Tang Mo watched this man and saw that the man was deliberately teasing him. However, the situation was urgent. He didn't have time to ridicule the other person and directly pushed Fu Wenduo. "Okay, what is the reward?" Tang Mo didn't intend to chat anymore, making Fu Wenduo show an expression of regret. "There is an extra reward." However, he didn't pull out any props. Tang Mo gradually realized something was wrong. The reward isn't a prop. Chen Shanshan thought quickly. Is it an opportunity to abstain from the game, similar to the King's Gold coin? Or is it some ethereal thing that will play an unknown role in the future? She was reminded of Mosaic's kiss that Tang Mo had said before. Only Jack awkwardly scratched his head. If it isn't a prop, then what can it be? It is a message. Tang Mo narrowed his eyes. What message? Fu Wenduo's expression became serious. All surviving players on Earth, the Black Tower's advice is, immediately attack the Black Tower's 4th floor. 10 minutes later, Fu Wenduo went outside to bring Fu Wenzheng in. Fu Wenduo's ident.I.tai was revealed and Fu Wenzhen's ident.I.tai couldn't be hidden. It was very simple for Tian Xian to find the address of the Fu family. They just needed to go to the government agency to find the information of Xiao Fu's father and they would know where he lived. That's why after leaving the tower attack game, Fu Wenzheng first found a place to hide while Fu Wenduo checked if there was an ambush. Fu Wenduo could likely escape if there was a real ambush. This resulted in Fu Wenduo and Tang Mo fighting first without saying anything. Adolescent girls grew much faster than boys and developed early. Once Xiao Fu stood next to Chen Shanshan, Tang Mo discovered that the child was actually half a head shorter than Chen Shanshan. Tang Mo thought that Chen Shanshan was short and hadn't expected Xiao Fu to be shorter. Tang Mo looked at the two children meaningfully and suddenly felt he had a long way to go. Even if the earth was online, the children needed enough nutrition to grow taller. He suddenly remembered the barbecue that was kicked over by Lian Yuzheng but it was too late to find it again. After the 5 people met, the introduction started. Once Jack heard that Fu Wenzheng was Fu Wenduo's brother, he looked at him with concern. Before you met with Fu Wenduo, didn't you often have problems with the similar names? Fu Wenzheng, the child hurriedly turned his head to look at his older brother. He saw that Fu Wenduo was leaning against a wall talking to Tang Mo and didn't seem to be paying attention to this side. Fu Wenzheng sighed with relief and said righteously, my brother is so good. How can someone say bad things? The child puffed up his chest and felt really proud of having such a big brother. This type of lie couldn't be believed. Jack's nerves were very thick and he didn't realize Xiao Fu's strong desire for survival. Xiao Fu was uncomfortable but he didn't say, don't talk about my brother, I'm afraid, and could only keep talking with Jack. Next to them, Chen Shanshan suddenly stood up and walked to Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo. Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo were just talking about the invisible people. The two of them stopped and looked at Chen Shanshan. The plain-looking girl raised her head and spoke in a calm voice. I thought about it for a while and I think this situation is more appropriate to break it one by one. Guangzhou, China. The sun gradually set, the round sun slowly descending towards the edge of the horizon. The orange-red beam shone on the narrow Pearl River, causing it to s.h.i+ne. There was no one on the roads on both sides of the river. The wind blew through the yellow leaves on the ground and made a rustling sound. Under the Guangzhou Black Tower, a figure in black emerged out of the air. First there was a pair of feet followed by a body. She seemed to cross an invisible barrier as she appeared on earth out of thin air. She kept walking in an unchanged posture and showed no surprise after she appeared. She was a tall woman with her long black hair tied up in a ponytail behind her. She wore a pair of leather boots and walked forward calmly with her hands in her pockets. Halfway through, she whispered, "It is hot," and pulled down her zipper, opening her leather coat. Just as she set foot below Guangzhou Tower and was about to leave, a silver light emerged from her right side. The long-haired woman raised her eyebrows and her body turned to the right. The angle was just right to avoid it. There wasn't a single wasted movement as the silver dart just said her cheek, not even cutting her hair. The next moment, 3 figures jumped from Guangzhou Tower towards the long-haired woman. One of them pressed his hands to the ground and the earth beneath the woman's feet cracked. She smiled and kicked at the ground, her body jumping more than 10 meters. The 3 people were shocked and rushed at the woman from 3 directions. It was difficult for a person with 2 hands to stop 4 hands. As long as one person tied her up, she wouldn't be able to withstand the other 2. Unexpectedly, a silver whip appeared in the woman's hands as the 3 people approached. She shook her wrist and the flexibility was like a silver snake as the whip hit the 3 people, not allowing them to escape. She suddenly made a cold expression and her strength increased. She threw 2 people from Guangzhou Tower to the sho.r.e of Pearl River. The last person turned and ran with horror but the long whip tangled around his body and pulled him back. The woman kicked the man in the chest and the leather boots stepped on his ribs. The man begged for mercy as his eyes schemed the golden number floating on the woman's neck. It was a 3-digit number, 864. The man felt very depressed. The person clearly only had 800 minutes and shouldn't be on the time leaderboard. How was she so strong? They had attacked a person who was ranked 81st 3 days ago and he hadn't been this strong. The next second, the long-haired woman slightly moved sideways. As she turned her head, 3 numbers hidden behind her neck were revealed. 261,864. The man's eyes widened and he looked at the young woman stepping on him with horror. A name filled his mouth but he couldn't say anything. He saw the woman poking his neck with a whip and smiling helplessly, "I don't want to kill anyone. You are the one targeting me." The man was so frightened that he couldn't say anything. Mu Huixiu frowned. "HRMM, not a local. Can you understand Cantonese?" The man was still in a state of shock and didn't answer. Mu Huixiu spoke in a helpless tone, "Okay, I don't want to kill you survivors. Get out of here. If you come back next time, I will kill you." Mu Huixiu removed her feet but the frightened man didn't dare move. Once he saw her turn away, he waited a few seconds before getting up and running away. The sun completely descended below the horizon as 3 players in China District 3 ran frantically towards Pearl River. Meanwhile, the long-haired woman stepped away from Guangzhou Tower. Once she was 50 meters from the tower, she slowly disappeared as suddenly as she appeared. Beijing, China. The sky darkened and Tang Mo pulled up the curtains. Jack turned on the low-wattage flashlight and 5 people sat at the table. Chen Shanshan lowered her head and spoke in a small voice, "It is obvious that the invisible people don't know the 2 worlds are combining. Their information is equal to ours. One of the root causes of this phenomenon is that they live in the exact same world as the Earth we live in." Tang Mo asked, "A parallel world?" Chen Shanshan nodded. "It might be so but I'm more inclined to believe that the Black Tower created a new Earth." Added a KO5 for the people asking for an alternative to Patreon. You can also join my Discord channel to chat with fellow readers about the novels.